15.
Did I leave the stove on?
Deadpool. This movie is hilarious. The action sequences in this kind of makes me wish there were more. And Deadpool's suit looks sweet. His origin story's pretty good. Him hunting Francis is great. And the final battle between him and Francis is a really cool sword battle. I love when he meets Bob there. Hope this movie would be good ever since I heard of it, because I love Deadpool. And while I don't agree with all the adult material in it, some of the adult material is a bit much, I do really enjoy this film.
Let's count them down.
14. Aquaman. This movie, wow. I mean, just take a second to look at the shots and see all the detail in the sea creatures and the water and the visual effects. And the fact that they had to film this in the blue screen studio with wind blowing and actually make it look like everybody was underwater at the same time while they were talking makes this film even more impressive. The action sequences are really unique. You really feel like you get a good understanding of the Seven Kingdoms. I love the camera shows the guy running through the wall and then goes up to the roof and shows the other guy. It's great seeing Jango Fett have another role and battle with him in Black Manta. It looks sweet. They really nailed his design. And I can just watch that fight with the bell over and over. And even use digital doubles to make the fight even better. And I like how he's a nobody who doesn't really want the throne, but just wants to save his people. And that takes us to a movie that's very emotional. And it has one of the best superhero final battles ever.
What did I tell you would happen if you ate the last donut with red, white, and blue sprinkles?
A little foggy on it, but I think it was something like rain without fire.
That's right.
And here I am without an umbrella.
They really nailed the battle between the Avengers. It does feel like a civil war. The final twist at the end is jaw-dropping, and I really thought Iron Man was gonna die. Even though I knew that Iron Man was casting confirmed to be in Homecoming, it didn't matter. Once it got to that point, I thought Cap was gonna kill him. I was scared. Something about the snowy aesthetic in that final battle just makes it even more. It's got a cool build-up, and I like how you can understand both Tony and Cap's side. Even though, if most of us are gonna vote for Cap, even if we like Tony, because Cap's got the more righteous choice. Which takes us to number 12, something actually further in the future than Civil War was. A movie that surprised me with how good it was. Really, I did not expect for it to get this far at the top of the list, but once I saw it, there was no going back. Is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. The whole bus just slices in half, and all of a sudden a sword just comes out of his arm and he attacks Shang-Chi. Wenwu, who's basically Darth Vader here. This really felt like a proper character origin story, and with all the internal conflict with Wenwu and the whole plot of Wenwu, the reason he's doing what he's doing, that it was a lie. Justin Daniel Cretton really did a great job directing this, and I'm excited to see what he does next. It also gave a cool mystery at the end with the Ten Rings, or where did these things come from? I like how it connects all the way back to Iron Man 1 and all that came before, with it being the Ten Rings. Number 11. It's a movie I never thought would get released, and you probably didn't too. It's Zack Snyder's Justice League. And this thing is 4 hours too. The in-depth look at Cyborg, Superman's resurrection. I love the story of Steppenwolf and how he's trying to redeem himself and he's looking for the anti-life equation. Also love how the heroes lose at the end, and it's up to the Flash, reset the time, that way they can win. Sometimes I feel in superhero movies the heroes win too much, and it was nice to see the heroes lose first. This movie grips you, even though it's 4 hours, I couldn't stop watching until I finished it all. Number 10, Avengers Infinity War. It's the culmination of just about all of the MCU, with so many characters and plot lines weaving together into a masterful film. You guys in the community post actually voted this the best superhero movie of all time. I personally think it's a great movie as well. It surprised me because after Civil War came out, I thought Captain America was going to be the main character, and it was great to see that Tony has taken the reins again. His battle with Thanos and the fact that they're both cursed with knowledge is fantastic. I was hoping when the movie trailers happened that they would actually go all the way and have Thanos snap away half the universe, and I was very happy to see that that's what happened in this film. Though I wish Star-Lord had stayed alive and helped the Avengers in Avengers Endgame. This movie had so much hype to live up to, and it delivered.
Powers are great. You must be popular with the children.
Marcus?
Marcus? Oh, he went home.
Number 9 is a movie that came out way back in 2005. Taking us all the way back to Gotham streets in a realistic, gritty tone, it's Batman Begins. Nolan really nailed it with this interpretation of Batman, and seeing an origin story of how Batman actually became Batman in live action was really cool. It's also much more of a thought-provoking film, and the more you watch Nolan's Batman movies, the more you appreciate it. The scene where Bruce Wayne has to find a way to get rid of the guests because justice is balanced and Ra's al Ghul is going to burn his house to the ground. And the way he just shows up out of nowhere is really a testament to the power of Liam Neeson. It's acting and this character.
If you make yourself more than just a man, you become a Superman. No, that's not right. A legend. Yes, a legend.
This movie feels like it could have actually happened in the real world. And it's amazing to think it came out in 2005 because it still doesn't seem like it's aged very much. And I love seeing Scarecrow on the big screen as well. Nolan nailed it, and this movie has made the top 10. Number 8. Back to the Marvel Cosmic Universe for another fun space galactic adventure. It's Thor Ragnarok. It's the most I've ever laughed at the theater. It really feels like the implications of what happens to Thor in this film are going to affect him for years to come. And the entire escape for Sakaar gets your adrenaline pumping and you really feel it while you're laughing the entire time. Is Loki going to betray Thor again? Of course. But how is it going to happen? That we don't know. And the fact that Thor actually gets the drop on Loki this time is a very rewarding character arc. Battle between Thor and Hulk. Very satisfying fight. And I love how Loki says,
I'm just a huge fan of the sport.
When the very same thing happens to Thor that happened to him. This movie left me with a smile on my face and ends with setting up some very dark things to come in Infinity War. And anytime you want to have fun or a laugh, just put in Thor Ragnarok. Number 7 is one of the biggest movies ever made. The finale to the entire Infinity Saga of 22 films. And this movie delivered. I love how he gets to spend so much time with the characters in their failure before they get to rise up again and succeed. Seeing how the characters reacted to Thanos killing half of their friends was emotional and really well made. The marketing for the film only showed the first 10 minutes of the movie, and after the first 10 minutes, it's like, whoa, I was not expecting that. Where's this movie gonna go next? And it just gripped you and you were in for the ride. Ant-Man's inclusion was perfect and a lot of fun, and I love how he ended up being the key to saving the entire universe, despite being, for lack of a better word, a smaller character. The ending could not have been more perfect, and the way it ends with it just feels like the way it's always meant to be. The fact that Cap gets to go back in time and live his life feels like the perfect swan song to these characters and the Infinity Saga. In other movies, you get to go back in time, but you've never seen the past before. But in this movie, you get to go back in time into movies you've already seen, and it makes it all the more fun, the payoff even better. I've never watched a movie where opening weekend where the crowd has cheered and laughed so much before. Everybody cheered when the heroes came back. It really was the experience of a lifetime, cannot be replicated. A satisfying conclusion, not that we deserved, but that we needed. Coming in at number 6, just shy of the top 5, it may surprise people, or it has one of the best Marvel villains out there, and I feel that it's the best Avengers movie. It's Age of Ultron. This movie has a perfect pace from beginning to end. Ultron is menacing and evil. I love his origin story. The opening action sequence where they're all battling as a team, which we hadn't really seen before, is incredibly visually stunning. It doesn't stop there. All of the sequences where they assemble just looks amazing. I love Ultron's planned plot. I love what he says.
I'm glad you asked that because I wanted to take this time to explain my evil plan.
As he knows what the heroes are up to, and he always seems 2 steps ahead of the Avengers. James Spader's voice and the way he handles the character is chilling and amazing. When Iron Man is in the Hulkbuster and he fights Hulk, that fight is one of the best superhero fights ever. Also has a great setup for Avengers Endgame with Cap lifting Thor's hammer. Was he not able to do it? And all in all, this movie just handles the team really well. Number 5, Batman vs. Superman Ultimate Edition. This is about as dark of a Batman as we get. It really feels like when he's driving the Batmobile and he's fighting everybody, you got a beast fighting you. I feel like DC is the best at its darkest, and this movie is definitely dark. All the little intricate weavings and everything that Lex Luthor does with his plot to get Superman and Batman to fight each other. The build-up between Batman and Superman is perfection.
Civil liberties are being trampled on in your city. Don't believe everything you hear, son.
I got Batman and Superman over here.
Look, I think you have me confused with somebody else.
Yeah, look at that.
If your hero saves a cat out of a tree, you read a puff piece editorial.
Up, Periscope. It's your boy Jim. I'm here with Batman. And...
And I love how Batman beats Superman at the end, showing that even like a man like Batman could beat Superman. It's Batman at some of his best. It sets up and gets you excited for Justice League, and it makes you want to hear more of its soundtrack. Number 4, Is it a Christmas movie? Is it a Die Hard movie? It's both. It's Iron Man 3. This movie is a blast. They take everything away from Iron Man in this film. He gets his entire house blown up, he just has one suit left, and it's really cool seeing Iron Man on the run and having to improvise on the fly, showing that it's not just the suit that makes Iron Man cool, but the character as well. Mark 42 suit is the most unique and impressive Iron Man suit that we've seen in the MCU. The Christmas aesthetic as well, it's not something you see in superhero movies very often. The whole story of Iron Man and what's concerning him and everything feels like a very personal and real story, and you really feel for the character when he finds peace. That final battle is perfection. I love seeing like 40 plus Iron Man suits all battle extremist soldiers. One suit gets sliced off and he falls into another one. This movie's awesome. Coming in at number 3, it's perhaps the darkest Marvel movie ever made. It's Logan. Perfect swan song and ending to Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. I wanted this movie to be rated R so we could get all the grittiness and realism of Wolverine's story, and they did. Paul Brick's character as well. I feel he's a bit underrated, and I love his performance and the way he moves his mechanical hand.
I'm a fan, by the way.
This is exactly what I wanted this movie to be. And the ending where Wolverine dies it gets you. It's pretty difficult to watch after all this time spending with that character. Coming at number 2, Guardians of the Galaxy 1. I thought Marvel was crazy when they decided to make this movie. I mean, who would have thought that a movie with a talking tree that can only say 3 words and a raccoon that could talk could be so much fun? This Marvel at its peak. All the jokes land, the action sequences are unique and funny, Rocket Raccoon steals the show, and all in all, this movie just feels like a really fun space adventure. Back to Gotham City, it's The Dark Knight Rises. One of the best theater experiences I've ever had, and Bane steals every single scene he's in. The way Batman actually loses and then having to rise up and save Gotham City, and the fact that all of Gotham is gonna blow, you really feel like this movie has a time window. And if Batman doesn't save the day soon, all of Gotham City is gonna blow up. And we've been with these Dark Knight trilogy characters for a long time now. We don't want to see them all get blown up.
I can get it out over the bay. No autopilot.
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
Seeing Batman come back is incredibly rewarding. The way Batman survives at the end. Final ending wraps everything up in the entire trilogy and you feel like you went on this amazing journey. And the way it ends with the water comes up and it just hits the credits, directed by Christopher Nolan. This movie fires on all cylinders. And all these reasons and more are why I rank it the top superhero movie of all time.